I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, December the 11th, brought to you in part by New Generation Supplements, makers of Smart Lick tubs. Even small mineral deficiencies in cattle diets can significantly impact herd health, affecting immune function, reproduction, and growth. Smart Lick tubs provide a minimum of 125% of recommended levels. For more information, go to newgensupplements.com. Short numbers are here. We've been talking here for the last several years about numbers getting really short, and now we're finally getting some analysts coming out with articles saying that it's a bad thing, but the market's going to be good, guys, and we'll continue to see good markets going forward here. We're likely going to see new highs again come the spring, because normally you see your lightweight stockers going crazy. It's not for winter forage, it's usually for grass fever whenever grass gets here. So they're still going to be extremely tight whenever that gets here, and we have seen some cooler heads prevail here this week, early this week, like I said on our last report, because we're not seeing the extreme highs that we saw last week. Even though it's fun to talk about those, it's kind of scary when you see that, and that you just know, they're really getting themselves in a bind, buying cattle that high. You're behind the eight ball whenever you start. Not saying that it's guaranteed they won't work, but they sure don't pencil out very good. And most of the guys I talk to wouldn't want a lot of those cattle that are bought at those extreme high prices. But we've got, I think the numbers are even tighter than what they've been saying. And I've been saying that for the last few years. I think our numbers are even tighter. And whenever you get something that your analysts and your number crunchers can really sink their teeth into, I think they put more weight into that than maybe what they should. Well, they're going to see, of course they know that the numbers are tight, and that's why everybody's getting all excited, and the market's going so crazy. But I think they're going to see, look at the receipts in the auction markets and think things are pretty tight. They're way more tight than that, because as I've told you guys many times, producers take cattle to the sale barn when the market's really good or really bad. And the market's really good, so they're bringing those calves in to the sale barn. There's a lot of producers out there that a lot of times just sell their calves to their neighbor if he grows cattle. But on a year like this, they wouldn't have the gall to ask him what some of the prices are in the sale barns, and they want to see if they can get that if they take theirs in. So I think we're seeing more cattle show up to the sale barn, so I think the numbers are even tighter than what we're really thinking that they are. And going forward, I mean, we're just going to be really tight. In the southern plains, your packers down in the southern plains have been running tight, especially in Kansas, on market-ready cattle. And they came to life already late on Monday wanting to buy cattle. And why would a packer want to buy cattle on a Monday? Because they're in dire straits. They need the cattle really bad. What did the Southern Plains cattle feeders do with no leverage? They held them up for steady to a buck higher at 191. The cattle sold from 190 to 191 last week. Why didn't they stand them up for 195? The northern cattle feeders would have done that because they've got enough leverage. Those packers have to come in and buy from them every week, and if they came to them on a Monday afternoon really needing cattle, they'd have made them give an extra $3 or $4 for them. But it's still a good sign when you see packers get hungry early in the week and want to buy some cattle. We haven't seen a hoof trade in the northern plains other than in the sale barns, and they're dollars and dollars higher there. So we've got a good market going forward here. Going to be leaving Vegas and headed back home on Wednesday, so I'll be back in friendly confines to give you the report the next time. But let's talk about your board on Tuesday. December live cattle futures are up $2.05 at 189.85. February was up $2 smooth at 189.02, and your back months were up 87 cents to up 170. Feeder cattle for January up 152, 257.32. March was up 2 1/4 at 257.45. Your back months on feeder cattle were up 142 to up 210. Your grains were higher too. So that's pretty impressive with feeder cattle going up that much right in the face of higher grains. Your March corn contracts were up 7 1/4 cents a bushel at 449. January beans up 4 3/4 cents at 994 3/4, and hard red winter wheat for March up 7 cents at 565 3/4. Like I said, on your fat cattle trade, which is always brought to you by Legacy Beef Cooperative, we didn't see any fats trade in a direct negotiated cash basis early this week so far. We haven't seen any trade out of Iowa or Nebraska. But unlike usual, we saw trade start out Monday afternoon or Monday evening after 2 o'clock deadline to turn that stuff in, I assume. But we saw some more trade happen on Tuesday in Kansas and Texas. Kansas sold about 2,700 head on Tuesday. They've sold 4,500 head for the week already, all at 191. And like I said, that's steady to a buck higher. But, you know, packers coming to you on a Monday afternoon, you need to get more out of the market than that. And I realize we're at high prices, but you don't feel sorry for them. They don't feel sorry for you when they've got their boot on your head and you're going under the tank. Let's talk about Texas. They only sold 100 on Tuesday, but they'd sold about 300 on Monday, which I guess that's significant because they don't trade any more than maybe 2,000, 2,500 in Texas. But 191 is the price in Texas also, which, like I said, steady to a buck higher. Now let's talk about a market that has competition. Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota, brick and mortar fat cattle sale. Greg Ryken somehow balances that and does a great job with it. They've got an active competitive sale, and my buddy Gary Marks that gives me this information to share with you, he said it was particularly good on Tuesday. They had a lot of nice cattle there. Demand was good. The buyers were bidding against each other. The market was higher, just the kind of sale that you like to go to. But they had 2,000 fats in overnight, and Yankton ended up with 3,000. That's a pretty good movement there. We don't move many more than that in the Southern Plains. But these cattle will be sold in a competitive nature to the highest bidder. Conventional fat cattle, just a straight up fat, sold from 191 to 197. That's $4 to $7 higher. You think these packers aren't needing these cattle early this week? And watch these negotiated sellers in the Northern Plains and the Midwest. They'll hold their feet to the fire. Program fat cattle, your drug-free or non-implanted, mostly non-implanted, selling from 193 to $2 a pound. That's $3 to $5 higher. Now, Gary Marks is a retired cattle buyer. He doesn't like to really quote, you know, what he thinks the dress price is on them cattle, but he knows as well as anybody, and he was telling me that those cattle standing in the ring, the dress price on them would be dollars and dollars and dollars higher than what we're seeing them trade in a negotiated manner out in the country, guys. But good fat cattle auction there in Yankton, South Dakota. They had a lot of cattle going back to the farm that some of the farmer feeders thought they could put some more weight on, and they were selling well over $2 a pound too. So good market there in Yankton. Box beef cutout values were kind of mixed on Tuesday. Choice cuts were down 241 at 311.73. Selects were up 31 cents at 279.65. Your slaughter through the first 2 days of the week, 239,000 estimated on cattle. That's 3,000 less than last week at this point, and 13,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. You know, we're continuously adding sale barns to our DVAuction broadcasting family of sale barns. And if you guys have a sale barn, if you're not broadcasting, I don't care if you're broadcasting with several others, it sure doesn't hurt to add DVAuction, and that's what we're getting more of now, is sale barns wanting to add DVAuction to their broadcasting. And you know, especially if you guys are selling on on a percentage commission. Little old jag of cattle, one time would pay for you to have it for a whole month, and it just exposes you to that many more buyers, guys. And as many replacement bulls and things like that as we sell, especially when you get ready to have a cow sale. It's nice to have DV auction buyers in there looking at those cattle. Plus, you get all kinds of friendly stuff from the feeder flash guys, so that's good. But we've got 2 new sales coming on board. I mentioned here just in the last week or two, we added Chakota, Oklahoma sale barn to our list of broadcasters. Today will be the first day that Harrington, Kansas is going to be on DV auction. So you can view and bid that sale in Harrington, Kansas. So we're proud to have them. Welcome, you guys. We're glad to have you as part of our family of broadcasters. And then coming up on Friday, we are going to be adding Winter Livestock Auction in Winter, South Dakota. Not winter, but winter, W-I-N-N-E-R. So that gives you the opportunity to view and bid Winter Livestock in Harrington, Kansas on DVAuction.com going forward now for every regular sale. Let's talk about your Performance Livestock Analytics. Performance Livestock Analytics is built by cattlemen for cattlemen. It's as easy to use as your cell phone. It's software, guys, that you can put on your smartphone, and it really helps you guys that are independent feeders. It helps simplify your feeding, your performance, and health data recording. For more information, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction. Late in the day on Tuesday, sitting at 259.87. That was 15 cents per hundredweight cheaper than what it ended on Monday. But that's pretty close to steady. That's a 7-day moving average. So I've been telling you guys early this week, the market's just kind of moderated out. I guess you can say it's lower. The prices just aren't as high. People are kind of, just opening their eyes and thinking, whoa, we need to settle this down just a little bit. But, it's hard to call it lower when the market's still so impressive. Like I said, your real-time index ended the day at 259.87. That was down 15 cents. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index 261.62. It'll be falling here moderately over the next couple of days. Talk about a sale you might want to check out on DV auction is for you guys out in the great Northwest, Intermountain Livestock Exchange in LeGrand, Oregon. Now they're going to have their bred cow bonanza sale coming up on Thursday. I think it starts at noon local time there. They got 1,000 bred cows in LeGrand, Oregon, guys. Check them out. They've got a couple of big dispersals there, and then just got some fancy strings of bred heifers and this and that. Check them out. Get on DV auction and you can view and bid. You got to get approved, so you need to call the sale barn there, tell them you might be interested in doing that. Let's talk about your big sales that happened on Tuesday. Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, Missouri sold 3,200 head through the ring. They had another 377 head with their in-house video they do with help from DV auction. They had a good sale there, but it was in comparison to last week's sale, which was a preconditioned sale in conjunction with the regular sale. So didn't have quite as many weaned and vaccinated calves this week as they had for the pre-con special there. But the market was still good. Feeder steers or feeder cattle were not well tested, kind of steady to weak and a light test. That's what Dan Hill said. And the calves were uneven from $4 lower to $4 higher, but basically steady. The good cattle, the bigger bunches of weaned and vaccinated calves sold right in line with what they did last week. That's preconditioned special there. So it was a good sale there at West Plains. Talk about your NationalBeefWire stick out sale of the day. That was Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. They've created a monster there, and they've done it through treating people that like they would like to be treated. They're friendly and helpful with everybody. Everybody's treated with respect around there. They do all they can to get everything they can out of their cattle. and people are really liking it. I tell you what, I was at Beaver County Stockyards last week, both Tuesday and Wednesday. They had a special cow sale on Wednesday that I sold, and I helped out on Tuesday, and they ended up selling 8,500 head for the 2-day sale last Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, I talked to Jeff Slatton on Tuesday morning, and he had 8,000 head of cattle in his yards on Tuesday morning. And I mean, the welders are running just flat out around that place there. You can smell those sticks burning every time you're out there. And he's redoing pens and building them as fast as he can. But that pushes them. 8,000 head. That would push a lot of sale barns capacities there. But that was pushing them. He said, please, if you're planning on bringing cattle, would you give us a call beforehand? They want to sell everybody's cattle as quick as they can. Not everybody can sell on the high line. There's going to be some people that sell later than what they would like, but you know, they support the market there themselves, and they keep things rolling in there, and they get those cattle sold as good as they can get them sold. And a lot of times those cattle, and even I saw it last week, and it got late in the night, guys are finishing up loads, and some of those late cattle selling higher than they did when they knew they had all those cattle behind the door to sell. So the market was easier this week, just like it has been everywhere, but still awfully good. And let's look at your automated market report through Cattle Market Central at Beaver County Stockyards there. The best tested weights had 558 head of 4-weight steer calves. They averaged 463 with a weighted average price of 383.07. 966 head of 5-weight steers averaged 556 at 328.24. 830 head of 6-weight steers in Beaver averaged 647 with a weighted average price of 276.41. There were 1,010 head of 7-weight steers. Average weight on them was 757. Average price 262.14. And 646 head of 8-weight steers averaged 852 with a weighted average price of 253.65 on all of them. Good, bad, and ugly, guys. The heifers, 503 head of 4-weight heifer calves averaged 461. Weighted average price on all of them, 322.30. 586 head of 5-weight heifers averaged 536 at $300.14. 434 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 659 at $246.50. And 330 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 750 pounds on the button with a weighted average price of $239.60. Couple of stick-out sales I saw at Beaver. There were 50 head of 521-pound steer calves that bring 365. That's like what they bring up in Nebraska and the Dakotas, guys, and we're in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Then 145 head of 833-pound feeder steers bring 264.50. Excellent sale at Beaver County Stockyards this week. Again, give you some individual quotes from all around. How about Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington, Kentucky? That's the flagship location there of all those bluegrass yards, but right there in Lexington, Kentucky. And one of my Feeder Flash gang members, Wade Hatcher from over in Tennessee, he brought his yearlings in there and told me that he treated them with Farapiece. He put Farapiece on them before he loaded them, or as he was loading them. Loaded those cattle. Said those cattle just settled right down for the ride. They rode for 245 miles from his farm there in Tennessee into Lexington, Kentucky. They came right off that truck, went right in their pens, went right to the bunk, got filled up, drank up good, and then rested. He got them in there about 30 hours before they sold, and he said he didn't think that he suffered any shrink at all. So there's another benefit of Farapiece there, guys. But his steers, they were 58 head of them. They weighed 828 and bring 259. I'd say, well, Wade's doing something pretty right there. How about some other quotes? How about Riverton Livestock Auction in Riverton, Wyoming? They sell 90 head, 507-pound steer calves at $378. That's awfully good. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, come out of Unionville Livestock Market in Unionville, Missouri. they sold those smoking R's from Lucerne, Missouri. They had 4 loads in there. Average on the loads was 818 pounds. Average price on the loads $271 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.